Welcome to the Desire Over Doubt Show, coming to you from Savannah, Georgia, with your hosts, elite and international elite lifters, Nate Korpusic and Savage Cat.
All right, welcome to the Desire Over Doubt Show. This is episode, I forgot what episode we're on. I think we're in season 3. This is the empowerment series, though, and we are very, 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 very excited today. I am Nate Korpusic, and with me, as always, is
Savage Cat.
And who is with us today?
With us today is Amanda Lee Townley.
Awesome. Hey, Amanda, how are you?
Hey, it's so good to see you guys. It feels like it's been forever.
It has. It's been a bit. It's been a little bit. We're just, we've been in lockdown in the house, working out of the house for now. And we pretty much just work out of here, and then just go to the gym, and then come back and play with the animals and work some more. So that's what it. How's everything going on your end?
It's going great. Lots of good time. Gym at the house now too. So really able to get it in. But been following some of the grand adventures you guys have been having, some of the other social media. So it's good to connect again.
I don't know if they're grand adventures, but they're adventures nonetheless. We've been traveling a lot, and it seems like every time we travel, there's definitely an adventure aspect to it. But yeah, so it's I don't know if it's the like glamorous jet setting lifestyle that they had back in the 50s and 60s.
No,
definitely not. But it's more like layovers and jet lag and running to a plane to watch it disappear away from the terminal. Right. As you sit there and wait for the next one. So I don't know, but it's been good, and everything's great in this end. So we have you here today on the Desire Over Doubt Show, and this is our empowerment series in particular. So what when we asked you to come on, we wanted you to tell a little bit about your story and why did you feel that this was or I guess where did your journey start would be the best question. Your empowerment through strength. We know you a little bit, but tell our viewers a little bit about your background and where you come from and what started your journey of empowerment.
Absolutely. So my background, I'm from rural Northeast Alabama and grew up in a small community as an athlete. So being athletic and being really encouraged by family, the idea of empowering others was always something important to me. But then life kind of happens. So, you get older, you go to school, you get in the slam of work and family and things like that. And, I guess the elevator version is during COVID, I started really thinking about, what are those values? What are those things that are important to me? And I had long before lost sight of my athleticism. I'm a professor in the sciences, so I'm outdoors all the time. I was moving a lot, but it was necessary movement, not the kind of movement that, builds your body and helps you feel good. It wasn't a fitness kind of movement. And I think in some ways the lockdown was a good thing because it helped me to recenter. And I started getting my kids out in the woods. We started walking, we started hiking, doing things really to stay sane, during lockdown. And I thought, I really haven't taken care of myself or invested in myself in a long time. I think I'm going to just start kind of getting back in the shape that I used to be, getting back to athleticism, being able to really play with my kids and do the things. And, I remember a friend telling me, once you get into this again, you're going to want to go all the way. You're not going to want to stop. And, sure enough, walking 5 to 10 minutes turned into walking a 5K every day. Doing all this cardio turned into lifting a couple of weights every now and then. Lifting weights turned into, hey, I want to eat better. Getting into those communities, I was really inspired by other women who were bodybuilding, who were working on that muscle development, because that's kind of where I came from when I was younger. I was a gymnast, I was a cheerleader. I played sports, so I was very used to being muscular and it felt good. And so I ended up taking that pathway into bodybuilding and with a little bit of powerlifting, and took some of that time during COVID while I was teaching and doing research to also get certified as a personal trainer. and really started working on my body and how I felt. And with every little thing that I changed, everything that I did, I felt better. I had more energy. Um, I was happy with what I was seeing in the mirror until I wasn't. And then it was like, we must grow, must have bigger muscles. But it's just, you really get in and figure out, I think sometimes when you're in the gym, you figure out who you are made of. 5 pounds. I remember being in the gym with you guys the first time I hit 150 on a bench press.
Mm-hmm.
And so you hit those milestones, and then a year later you're looking back and you're like, wow, I remember when I was a baby and I hit 150 on a bench press. When the first time you deadlift your body weight, and then all of a sudden you're 50 pounds more than that, and then you're 70 pounds more than that, and then and it grows and grows, and it is powerful because strengthening your body, learning your body that intimately, really does change how you think about things and how you see things. I mean, I feel powerful in terms of what my body can do, but I also feel powerful because I did that.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I put in the hours, I put in the effort, I made the sacrifices. I stopped being a lazy butt. I don't have time for that. No, if you want to do something, you're going to make time for that.
That's
Yes.
absolutely true. That's a really good point. And I think like what you're talking about too, and people who know you and have seen you, it's infectious. I mean, other people will see what you're doing, and then they'll kind of like they'll latch onto it, and they say like maybe I need to get up and do that. Maybe I need to go out and do that. Then they start their own little journey, and then eventually they have their own little story, and then eventually we're interviewing them on our podcast, and it is a good story. I love hearing I love hearing how you used to be an athlete, and I think that's true. Most of our guests have been younger so far, but I mean myself, I come from an athletic background, playing soccer for many years, so I can relate to being an athlete and then kind of coming out of that and then kind of searching for
figuring out what to do next.
Yeah, like what is the next? Because it's not soccer anymore. It's just, I don't have the body for that anymore.
You have to find something that's going to help you feel the same way like you felt when you were a competitive athlete. Usually it's team sports that I hear a lot of people come from when they're younger, and then they get into something like powerlifting or bodybuilding, and it kind of fuels that same fire both in training and in the context of empowerment. Like, okay, well, I'm doing this in the gym, and how does that carry over to my everyday life?
That's a good question too, is like, how does that carry over to your daily life?
So I think the biggest lesson that you learn when you start training at that level is your only competition is you. The barriers are your own barriers. Your greatest stopping point is yourself. And for a long time, and I think a lot of people relate to this, you worry about what other people think and what other people are doing. As a female in bodybuilding, it's like, oh, you're going to be one of those muscle girls. Hell yeah, I'm going to be one of those muscle girls.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
It's like, you, boo. Feminine comes in a lot of different forms. But it was rekindling that competitive nature that I've always had, but realizing that the only competition is what I did yesterday.
And that is important. That's an important message, I think, is, you can compete against other people, but you're always competing with yourself. We say that all the time. And then, some people will argue that, the competition is other people, and that's great. Those are different types of athletes as well. But, it is, you are always in a competition with yourself and with yesterday. And I think that that's important. And it's not, like you're saying, like, it's not just about the lifting. It translates into everyday life. And I think that's where the empowerment aspect comes from.
And the big thing that's empowering, I think, to me about the conceptualization of competition in that way. Yes, you're in a bodybuilding competition. Yes, you're up comparatively against those other people on the stage. But where you start to grow and really understand yourself is when you're asking, am I bringing my best package?
Mm-hmm.
Did I put in the hours that I needed to put in? Did I flake out one week and, not hit my carbs or not hit my protein? Was I eating that? It's little things like that where you can say, yes, I did those things. I brought my best package to date. Now let's build more. Let's do more. And it's not one of those things where you're constantly chasing something unattainable. So, for example, Hilla Trevino, female bodybuilder, ridiculous, Olympian, just an incredible form. If I'm out there chasing Hilla, how am I growing as a person? Because I can burn myself out trying to be someone else, as opposed to, yes, that is a role model. Yes, that is somebody that I can look up to. I am not Hilla. My body is different. My needs are different. I have to be me. I have to take time. You can't push this and make it happen in a month or a year or even 5 years. You look at these Olympic women in the Olympia, and I mean, they're massive, and they make sacrifices and they make choices, right, to get to those points. So, if you're just focusing on almost the keeping up with the Joneses part of things, then you're not learning and growing from it. And it translates into my work life. I mean, as a scientist and a professor, I'm constantly writing. I'm constantly out in the field doing research. I'm also balancing teaching and other things. And it really helps me to stop and say, okay, what are my priorities? It helps me, empowered me to kind of reset how I was going about my life in all of those areas. It helped me build more discipline in how I was approaching a lot of things. ADHD brain science girl over here, I am all over the place. And so, setting goals and learning how to set boundaries and protecting my time for the things that were important, including my gym time, my family time, and other things, I feel way more balanced, and that's a powerful feeling because it's almost like the weight of the world telling you, you have to be X, Y, Z, you have to do this, you have to fit this mold. Make your own.
Man, I want to put that on repeat for people because it's what you're saying is a lifetime of experience right there that takes to learn sometimes, and I just want to put that on repeat because we try to tell people the same thing all the time. It's and especially when you're talking about chasing another athlete or something like that, and that aspect of it is you don't know what that person does, you don't know what their body's like you said, you don't know, I mean, maybe they've been doing this for 20 years and you're like a year in, and it's just like it's an unattainable goal, but as you said, as it translates to your regular life, and you've heard me say this before, and one of my mentors and one of the people that I follow dearly is David Meltzer, and one of the things he calls the things that you're talking about non-negotiables. So you're like your family, you're going to make family time that's now a non-negotiable. You're going to make time for your health, that's a non-negotiable. And you're going to make time for your friends and help people around you, that's a non-negotiable. And whatever happens every day, you devote X amount of time to those things, and it creates that like discipline like you're talking about. And it's funny to hear it said a different way that might make a little bit more sense, but I've kind of adopted that whole non-negotiable thing a little bit, or trying to anyways, as best I can. But I like the way you're saying it. And again, I'd like to put that on repeat, just put it on a poster and just send it out to everybody, because that's a lifetime right there that it took me to learn. So
absolutely. And I'm the same here. And so I'm 3 years in the bodybuilding journey. So I'm a baby in comparison to a lot of the people that are out there. I've got a long way to go. I've got a lot of work to put in. So I came from, 120 pounds overweight 3 years ago to where I am now. So, we're talking about a long, constant process. And, even in what I'm doing, anytime you're starting something new, yes, there's power, but there's power in knowledge. Read up, talk to people, talk to experts. I reached out to so many people on Instagram that have become very good friends, who are willing to just answer a question here, though. I mean, I'm not monopolizing their time or being a jerk about it, so please don't do that. But, you ask a question here, you ask a question there, you learn a little bit, you do the research, you do the legwork, and you figure it out. I felt like I wasn't growing the way I needed to. My numbers were changing. All of these things were working out really well. Obviously, I dropped a lot of weight before I started really getting into the gym. But one of the things that I was neglecting is self-care, which is a huge part of that as well. And so, being in my 40s, obviously, and then also, starting this whole new lifestyle again after being, I wouldn't say sedentary, but pretty dang close. I mean, wandering around slowly walking, from place to place, collecting data or whatever, as opposed to actually getting in there and getting it, right? It's a very big difference. And so, okay, Graston therapy for my muscles. Oh, by the way, stretch,
Oops.
Little conversations about mobility and stretching. Yes, we need to stretch. No, you've got to stretch. Again, you get into non-negotiables. It's like, okay, if we're going to put our body through what we're doing, we have to do it the right way. And that's a learning process.
True.
And you learn more, you grow more, you start seeing the results that you were missing out on. And you're like, oh, hey, Duncan, that was my fault. That was on me. Now we're doing better. Now let's dial it in. Let's lock it up and dial it in and just keep moving forward. And I think that's been the best thing is I remember my mom always telling me as a kid, like, there's a reason why the rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield. Okay.
That's
So,
very
I like that. I like that.
The rear view mirror is, so you've got to be able to look back. You don't want to repeat history, but there's so much ahead of you, and it's bigger because that's where your attention needs to be. You need to be focused on what is ahead, just with a reminder and a quick check about what's behind, but you can't let the things that are behind you be the things that hold you back or negatively define you. You use it as fuel and you grow. And so, there's been so much forward motion for me through the process of, strengthening my body, strengthening my mind, strengthening my bond with my family, because I'm more present now than I feel like I've ever been in my life.
That's awesome.
That's protecting my time, learning that no is a good thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
it absolutely is. And it's funny, you say the rearview mirror, and I call that face to the future, ass to the past. And which side of your body are your eyes on? And it's the ones that are looking forward. And I like that. I'm going to steal that one though, because I think that's a good way to describe it. And I love your shirt, by the way. For those of you that aren't watching, and you're just listening, it says "Live Soar." And I know that's something Kat and I were talking about recently. Is if you're in any type of sport like this and you're dedicated to it, you're going to wake up every day with something.
Yes.
This is true.
Something's gonna be sore all the time, and that's okay.
Or that's when you start worrying, because that's when either you didn't do it all the way, you didn't give it your all, or oops, we're in trouble now.
Yeah, you're right. When you don't feel it anymore, that's a problem. So what's next? What's big on the docket for you next? What's coming up? 3 years? You say 3 years that you're still a baby. I find that very humble.
Are you gonna step on stage?
That is my ultimate goal, is to get on stage. I still feel like I have a lot of work to do. One of the best things I did is I have a number of coaches. So shout out to Daniel Dancer with Camp Freedom Fitness out of Colorado. It was amazing. We worked together and still work together now. And then Becca Gaines up in Canada has been a coach of mine for physique and bodybuilding, kind of getting things moving. And I've got a long way to go. I think I'm the hardest person on myself as far as all of those things. But yes, ultimately we'll be getting on the stage. I just have to sort out all my other things first, Unfortunately, post-COVID, now that travel has kicked back in, I have 2.5 years of travel for research that has to basically be done in a year. So it's like, we're going to do our lifting and prepping and get all of that stuff going this year. And so my goal is in 2024 to hit this.
Awesome. I think that's a good goal. I think that's a realistic, good goal.
Totally realistic.
I mean, what do we normally see when people are like, you're not just starting out, but a lot of people that are, for the people that are just starting out, what do we normally see?
What do you mean?
Like, as far as like setting a goal about what they want to do and like coming out, like in powerlifting, for example.
Anything is a realistic time frame. I mean, if you think about who you are now, like what is your starting point? What is your goal, and how much time are you saying that it's going to take you to achieve that goal? And are you willing to do what it takes to achieve that goal? And knowing you have a lot of muscle. It's not like you're starting from scratch. You're somebody who could theoretically start a prep now, you know what I mean? And be ready by, 2020, what year is it? 2022. You should be ready by some point in, early 2023.
It is 20.
And get your first stage experience sooner than I think you think you're ready for.
Well, and we see that all the time in powerlifting. People are like, oh, I'm not ready yet. Well, eventually you got to
sometimes you just got to take the plunge.
You got to take that plunge. And that's part of your, that's part of your empowerment journey. I do think, but listen to your coaches. Also.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My coach was trying to get me on the stage this summer, and I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do all the things, and my thing is when I commit to something, I want to know that I can commit to it. And so I'm not going to put myself in a position when I know there are going to be major distractions or issues or the traveling all over the place for research that we're going to take away from my focus.
Right.
I don't know, maybe as soon as next year. My goal is Wings of Strength in Savannah.
Sure. That's Linda Murray.
Linda Murray.
Yep.
Hometown lift, right? The hometown competition. So
a lot of people have done that. A lot of people that have gone on to do a lot of bigger and better things have done that meet, and it's actually we were fortunate enough to see it. Well, we've seen it a couple times. We saw it at the convention center.
Yep.
Back in when we had our thing, right? When we had our Strength Con.
No, that was a different time.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it was actually it's a really good show. It's produced very well. I like that show for little old Savannah.
Yeah, I've seen pro bodybuilders compete at that.
We saw Crystal Labrada there,
and Sheehan was there too.
It's a good show. I think you would shine on that stage.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Awesome. Let's all know. Speaking of shining on the stage, Bama Burr rocking it.
Oh my goodness! So that's our coach, and she is a hot ticket. She is awesome, and she is our coach for a reason because if she can do anything, she'll do it.
Literally,
literally anything. Like seeing her up there, watching her, and talking to her throughout the whole process has been very interesting because you see she's got a different mind, man, than a lot of people. She's just got that I don't know, man. She's got that something, that chutzpah, that's something else. It's almost like
something about her that I really admire is her love of a plan, which I feel that I love a good plan, but in my head sometimes I will doubt the plan.
Right.
And she doesn't do that. She trusts the person or the people who are writing the plans, and it shows.
It does. I mean, look at her. I mean, first time on stage, that's incredible. She put together a great package.
I want to be more like that. Trusting the process, as it were.
You gotta trust her process. You gotta trust Stacey's process. Yeah. But she's I'm speechless, honestly, when I saw her get up there. She put together quite a package, and just like it's such a different side of her that I've never seen.
The makeup,
the makeup, and everything is just like, and to know her as a person and to see her up there and just like, well, she just carved out a whole new area for herself, and I applaud that. Also, with your coaches, if you could send me their information and we can tag them in this video, I'd love to tag them. Unless you're firing them sometimes.
Never. I love my coaches. Even when one of them makes me vomit on a regular basis by adding reps.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm really glad that you came on and tell us your journey. Besides the stage and besides work, you got anything for the holidays coming up? Any family plans, fun stuff? You gotta plan some fun stuff.
Oh, there's always fun stuff. With 5 kids, it's always an adventure. So we're getting to spend our holidays with family. And, my husband is a former service member and now he's a first responder. And so being able to spend holidays with the family and have him home is, a 1 in a million event. And so for the first time, and I'm going to, knock on something, right? So for the first time, we're going to actually be able to have Thanksgiving with my family and his family. We're going to actually be able to, he's actually going to be home on Christmas Eve.
Wow. I know that feeling. That's awesome.
We've always have the military first responder Christmas, which is whatever day that parent can be there. right?
Yep.
And so really, really looking forward to that. Just very, very cool things. Lots of travel this year and getting to go and meet people and see things. I'm the nerd queen now. I was elected president of the National Association of Biology Teachers, which is a group of people that are just incredible, do so much for students in classrooms to teach them and really inspire people in the sciences. And so I get the honor of representing them starting in January for 3 years.
Wow.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
So
That's really cool.
Thank you. Just really, really cool stuff. I'm relaxing in a lot of ways, but really being judicious in the things that I choose to put my energy into. And, coming back to empowerment, taking control of your life, taking control of your passion, and being able to drive your energy into the things and the people about which you have that passion is a power that you can't even begin to explain to people. And unfortunately, it's a power that's born out of experience, and you have to learn the hard way, and it takes you 40 some odd years, to finally get
Hey, I knocked over the 40 wall a couple years ago. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And everything. And I got to get one of those shirts.
I'll have to find you one. Yeah. But no, I told somebody the other day, I was like, yeah, you talk about knocking over the 40 wall. I said, I knocked over the wall, and I think part of it's still stuck in my left knee.
Sure. Yeah, I'll tell you, things just go differently. Even for just but people who've been active even in their, we use our 20s, we use everything up in our 20s. We spend our 30s trying to catch up. In the 40s, we kind of give up. And I think we need to remember not to do that, and just to keep moving. That's just too often.
I think it's all about who you surround yourself with. And I think I'm very fortunate in being somebody who's just approaching 30, and things are kind of starting to change. And I'm around people who are a little bit older than me, and they're like, listen, this is kind of, just the way that it is. This is what you can control. This is what you can't control. But in the powerlifting community, there's so many amazing coaches and athletes and stuff that are, in their late 30s, 40s, even into their 50s and 60s. And they still have incredible careers, and they accomplish some of the most incredible feats later. So
For sure.
I think that it's a little bit of
I agree.
Not the truth.
Again, we also don't know what they've gone through.
This is true.
We don't know how they feel getting out of bed every day.
I'm saying it's not impossible to be at your best.
It's not
at
impossible.
40, 50 years old.
It's definitely not impossible. I just think, maybe some of them are retired, and it takes them an extra hour to get out of bed and get to the gym. And
hey, that doesn't mean they're not in the gym.
That's right.
But even so, even if you're in the worst shape of your life in your 40s, it is not ever impossible at 50, at 60, or 70 to say, you know what, I'm done with this.
Yep.
And make those steps. It's truly
Yeah.
not. A friend of mine's mom is in her 60s and has set, I think, 4 records this year in powerlifting for her age group in the 60s and her body weight.
Awesome.
That's incredible.
And that's not something she did growing up or, had any background in. It's something that she just said, you know what, I think I want to do this. And then you put in the work.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. And that's it right there. It's a very simple formula, and follow through.
There's a woman I follow on Instagram whose handle is Train with Joan. And I want to say she's in her mid 60s. And this is somebody like you're talking about who was not really athletic growing up, really just wanted to become healthier. And now she's this woman has got triceps for days. Yeah. She looks great, and she's just so athletic and so lively, and it's incredible.
And I think that's the thing, talking about our parents are getting older and things like that. And I'm like, just by observation, when you stop moving, you become complacent, and you get to a point where you let yourself just go sit in the chair and do nothing, and you don't push yourself anymore. That's when I see people slowing down.
Yes.
And then on the side, you have grandmothers. I can't remember the woman's name, but she's absolutely the cutest freaking thing I've ever seen. She's 84 and lifts.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jim or something like that. And she picked it up in her 70s. But it's those are the people who, I hate to say it, the person who's drinking the whiskey, going on the hike, riding their bike everywhere at 75 is the person who at 90 is still out there driving and being all sprightly. We have to feed our minds and our bodies.
Very true. Very true. Enrichment all around, for sure. 100% agree. Well, Dr. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on. And we definitely appreciate your, everything. And, I love that this was a great talk. You mirrored a lot of what I can't necessarily say myself because I'm not so good with the words. So I do appreciate having a scientist on that can maybe make it more apparent.
Do better with the words.
Do better with them words. Yeah, Google Translate doesn't help me much at all. So thank you again, Doctor. And we will, stay in touch, please. Don't be a stranger. And don't forget, drop those your coaches and stuff for us, and we'll tag them in the video.
We'll do it. And thank you, guys. It's great to see you and all the wonderful things that y'all are still doing. Keep it up.
Well, thank you. Yes. You too. Take care now.
Take care.
Night. Wow. She's cool.
What a great talk.
I miss her. She was awesome. For those of you that don't know, she used to actually work in our gym. She was a trainer there, and she was just like one of those people that would walk in the room and light the room up and just, kind of make you feel better.
Always happy to be at the gym.
Always.
I love that.
She seemed happy to be anywhere. She's kind of got that attitude now. I don't know if that was always her attitude, but it's just, and everything she said, she's a scientist, folks. Listen to her. She knows what she's talking about.
Facts.
She knows what she's talking about. Well, as we normally do, what do we got coming up?
Well, the big thing is we are 3 weeks out from the PPC finals in Los Angeles. That is December 4th at South Bay Strength.
Yep. That's gonna be a meet.
That's a big deal.
It's a big deal. That's gonna be a lot of fun. South Bay Strength is, for those of you who don't know, is
Veggie Lifters Gym.
Veggie Lifter, Dr. Ashley's gym. Great place. We probably talked about it in previous podcasts, but we're very excited because that's getting to be down to the wire.
It's on the forefront of my mind 24/7. Yeah. That's how close it is.
Not thinking about, trying to think about the other stuff, but it's hard sometimes. I'm online looking up Open Powerlifter and stuff. I look everybody up yesterday. I just got caught in that rabbit hole. And what else? We got, man, there's a lot coming up. And then we're coming back to Atlanta for Dirty South.
Yep.
With two of our lifters, Brandon and Jamila.
Yep.
So look for them on the stage at the Dirty South. And then we go to Vegas, the 7th of January.
Nevada States.
And
with WRPF.
And we'll be touring around the CES. Not that anybody cares. But we'll be at the Consumer Electronics Show, which is the biggest convention that Vegas puts on every year. So it's
very excited about that.
I think it's kind of cool.
I don't even know what to expect.
It's awesome. Basically, like when your first like Tandy computers and Commodores and stuff were coming out, this was the show where they were showcased. This is where they were brought to. So it's like kind of nostalgic in a way because it's like where all the original technology, personal computing technology kind of was shown and where it came out. And so you get to kind of see what's coming in the near future. And it's cool. It just happens to be going on while we're up there. So that'll be kind of fun. Then we recently also had the honor of becoming meet directors with USPA.
Yay! Finally.
So look for a competition coming up. We don't have one set in stone yet. We don't have a sanction or anything yet. So, but we're looking around. We're looking at doing an untested meet sometime around the March timeframe, late February, March, somewhere around there.
Yep.
I think is. Mm-hmm. Pardon me. So look for something that'll be in Savannah, Georgia as well. Is that about it?
That's about it.
That's about it. We're almost at Thanksgiving, so we will be on air next week, but don't look for us on Thanksgiving.
No.
Is Thanksgiving next week?
No. It's the 15th today.
Thanksgiving is next week.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Wow. So that's so we'll be on the 22nd. All right, so it doesn't really interfere with our schedule because we're not going anywhere, right?
You ever just pull up a calendar and realize that things are not where you thought they were?
I pull up a calendar and I realize how inept I am at reading them. But yeah, don't mind me. I totally thought today was the 24th, which would make today Thanksgiving.
We thought today was
It's not even the right day of the week. It's not even the right number. It's nothing.
no, not at all.
Oh my God. This is what happened. This is another side effect of aging as well that you just have to kind of come to grips with.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a crime.
You
She's
just-
been whacked in the head many times.
Forget how everything works.
Yeah, exactly. So if we don't see you or hear from you, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, but we will have one more show before.
Yes. Next week we have Redemptive Rebecca,
Ooh,
also
yes,
known
right.
as Rebecca Kennedy from Fit Life Academy, on next week's episode. So we are looking very much forward to talking with her about being empowered through strength and how being in the gym has helped her.
She has an amazing story. to
Amazing
tell.
story.
She's got an amazing story to tell. And her story is ongoing, just like everybody else's is. But she's very she has done the job of putting herself out there, I think, and so other people can see and know that you can do it. You can definitely do it.
Definitely.
She's awesome. She's an inspiration. Can't wait to talk to her. And if you guys have any questions or anything that you want us to answer, feel free to submit them ahead of time or during our live shows like today. Most shows will be live unless something comes up or we're going to be on location somewhere. So feel free to hit us up. And so how do we want to exit this one out?
Well, we want to say
What do we want to say?
that we'll see you at the gym.
See you at the gym.